You want to know how I made $46,000 on one wholesale deal? Stay tuned and I'll tell you more. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Graylan Stewart. I'm a virtual wholesaler. We wholesale nationwide, but we do have a couple of markets that we target specifically. So today is more like a case study, okay? I'm going to show you exactly how we got this deal, who we sold it to, how we sold it, how much money we made, all those kind of things, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into it. Okay, guys, so this is my actual podio. So this tells us the lead source right here was a cold call lead. The cold caller was Alana. And here's the actual campaign that we did. So this shows you the list. It was an equity absentee list, but this was pulled in April of 2020. So as you can see, that's a year and a half ago. That just goes to show you that old lists still work, okay? So April of 2020, cold calling list, equity absentee. What that means is the houses, the people that we targeted were absentee owners, meaning they did not live in that property. And equity means they had some kind of equity. We typically target between 50 and 60% equity, depending on the list size that we need and that kind of thing. But anyways, so this was in Oklahoma City. You can see there. And it's like I said, it was pulled in April of 2020. So we've been calling this list, texting this list, sending RVMs to this list. And we might have even done some direct mail to this list. So several times over the last year and a half, and we just got this deal and sold it a week ago. So there you go. So let's look at the property a little bit. So like I said, this is in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's a super sought out area. A lot of upper end housing in this area. Of course, this is more of a distressed house. It's really hard to get a deal in Edmond. So when you get one, you know that you've got a deal. And I honestly thought about taking this deal down myself and flipping it. And if I didn't already have 5 flips going at the same time, I probably would have, because this is definitely the kind of house I love to flip. Even the AC unit looks decent. But it's just a lipstick deal. Some little things like that, like take these down and just clean it up really good. But overall, this property is great. It has great bones for sure in a super nice area. Of course, most of Edmond in Oklahoma is really nice. There's a couple of bad areas, not bad, but just old school houses and lower price points. But this is a brick house in a nice neighborhood. Now, I think the ARV is close to 200 grand, just because I know that area well. I used to live in that town. Like I said, it's really hard to get a deal there. But as you can see, you know, it needs a light rehab, mostly paint, new flooring. We paint the cabinets white is what I would do. You know, it's got the old school appliances, but that's an easy fix. And maybe open it up a little bit, just break that wall out instead of that little window there. But overall, this is a deal that we would typically flip ourselves all day, every day. I can just tell by the square footage and the size, size of the house, and by what it has in there currently and what it would need. I mean, I think we could do this whole flip for probably 25 grand, and that includes granite everywhere and new flooring, new paint, new appliances, everything. So I think we could do that deal for about 25 grand, maybe 30 tops. But we got this deal for $106,000. That's just the video there. And a side note, that is a good thing. You always have to have tons of pictures. Obviously, you can see we have a lot of pictures here, but we always get a walkthrough video on the inside and a walkthrough video of the outside as well. But so that just gives you an idea. But let me show you. So we actually got this deal for $106,000, and we put down $1,000 earnest money because the guy was, wanted to make sure that we were serious. So we got the deal on September 22nd, ended up closing on August 18th. So that was our projected project profit, but we actually made a little bit more than that, not a ton. But let me show you the HUDs, okay? So this will show you exactly what we got it for with the seller. So this is our company name right here, Stewart Marketing. The seller's name, cash deal. We did a double close because it is a bigger profit. Although we did sell it to one of our big buyers, and they don't care what we make, so it would have been fine probably if we didn't double close. But I just double closed anyways, just in case there's any headache. So we got it for 106 grand. Um, so what we actually had to bring to the table was, for the double close section of it was 105, 265, 15, because they did deduct this part out. So anyways, so we're in it for 105, 265 basically, right? And then the second HUD, you can see we assigned this to REI Nation, which they're a huge buyer nationwide. They only focus on a handful of states, though. Oklahoma's one of them, I think. The San Antonio, Texas area is one. I think they might be in Kansas City and a handful, Memphis, Tennessee, handful of other areas. But anyways, so we assigned this to them for 153,000. Okay, so this shows you right here. Our portion right here, okay, is what we get. So if you do the math, 151, 726.15, and then this other HUD, you can see this is kind of cash to, or cash from the borrower, cash from the seller, which is us. So subtract that 105, 265.15. So our actual take-home profit was 46,461 if you do the math on that. So that's huge. I mean, this was a cold call deal. Now, I kind of spoke about this a little bit on one of my other videos, just saying whenever I was the acquisition manager for the time period. So what happened was, I was taking calls during this particular week because my main acquisition manager was on vacation. So I ended up getting this deal myself. Of course, my transaction coordinator still made money. My disposition manager still made money. But I actually made money for the acquisition part. And it was kind of fun because, I don't do acquisitions and I haven't done them for a couple of years now. But, I still have what it takes to do it. Obviously, you have to perfect every aspect of your business before you can start hiring people to do those things. So obviously, I taught it to my acquisition manager. She does an amazing job. But I actually did this deal myself. So I actually had the contract at $100,000. The initial over the phone, just, hey, we'll do 100,000. So it was a verbal agreement, right? But then when it came down to it, I was about to send him the contract. Of course, we do that over the phone. Never send it out blind because you'll never get it back. But during this time period, he informed me that he had other offers. He had another one for 105 that was a better deal. He's going to make $5 more grand. So rather than go back and forth, I was like, tell you what, if I can do $106,000, will you sign today, and we'll get this deal closed out fast. So he said yes. So we got the deal done. I got it for 106, and again, as you can see, $106,000, and I actually assigned it for $153,000. But when you take out, the double closing fee, we made 46,461. So just over that amount. So it was a good profit for us, and that actually closed, a week ago or so. So, anyways, just wanted to share that with y'all to give you some inspiration. Cold calling does work. So we have 4 or 5. I think we have 5 cold callers that cold call all day, every day. So we have our phones. We have people on the phones from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturdays are typically like 9 to 2, 10 to 2, based on the schedules. But so we cold call all day, every day. And like I said, this was an older list. So that just shows you that older lists even work. This was April of 2020, and it was an equity absentee list. So it's a broad list. It doesn't mean that they necessarily have any pain points. We just know that they don't live in the house and they have equity, okay? So it's not even a super distressed type of a list necessarily, but that is the most common list that most wholesalers, most companies use, because it's just a broad list. It gets you a ton of addresses, and that's a lot of times what you want when you're scaling. You just want a ton of records because you want to call everyone, or RVM everyone, or SMS everyone, and that kind of thing. So anyways, so this was cool too. Our cold caller, she makes a little bonus, for us closing on this deal. My acquisition manager was me this time, so I made money on the deal. Of course, the company made money, of course. Transaction coordinator made her cut. and the dispo manager made her cut too. And at the end of the day, the seller was super happy. He got $6,000 more than our original verbal agreement. The buyer is super happy, of course, because this ARV is easily 200 grand. They got it for 153, and they can probably, they're doing this more at scale, so they probably buy bulk. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but nevertheless, you could probably flip that house for 20 grand if you wanted to. But even if they are in for 30, worst case scenario, like super pimping it out, right? With all the bells and whistles, they're in it for let's just say 180-ish. They can definitely sell for 200 worst case scenario. So after closing and everything, they'll make a good 15 to 18 profit. But most houses they actually keep for rentals, so it's a good rental play for them because that will definitely rent for 16, 1700 a month in that area. And then for a rental wise, you could probably put 5 to 10,000 in that house just to make it rent ready. Okay. So anyways, buyer's super happy. Obviously, a lot of other people will make money. The closing company, title company made money. The closer made money. I'm sure they're going to remodel this, whether they keep it or flip it. So everybody involved in that process makes money as well. So anyways, that's all for the actual case study right there. So there you go. I mean, that's a real case study where you saw the actual house pictures that we took. You saw the real numbers that we took it down with. You saw how we got the deal, who we sold it to, how much we made on it, and everything. So wholesaling real estate is a real thing, right? If you're not doing it, if you're new to it, keep going, because that's the bottom line. If you decide to do cold calling, cold call all the time. If you decide to do direct mail all the time. Whatever you do it consistently, because it will pay off. And cold calling, we don't get tons and tons of deals from cold calling, but we get 2 or 3 a month. So it's worth it, and I could probably ramp that up if I got more callers, maybe have 2 people calling at the same time all day, every day. We'd probably do more deals even, but it is what it is. And it just gives me kind of insight in my business where, okay, 46 grand profit on cold calling that, I think after everything I pay, maybe $400 to $500 a week on cold calling. So, that's a pretty good return. Even if you only did one of those in a month, that's huge. 2 grand to get 46 grand. Do that all day, every day. So I should definitely scale up my cold calling, because that is becoming better and better again. Like everything else, there's ups and downs, and some things work better than other things at different times of the year and different times every business. So you always got to just keep moving and keep doing it. So anyways, hopefully you found some inspiration in this and got some value out of it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I'm cool with that as well. So nevertheless, if you watch this long, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next video.